Phase 2 of this maximizing the winter break is the agenda discovery phase. These are for your middle year doctoral students, generally your second or third year doc students. So if you're like midway through coursework, or you're coming on the tail end of coursework and you're coming into this break, here's what you do. For your break, give yourself some family time. Give that family time that you've been promising that you will give. Remember the talk. Give that family time because they've been sacrificing for you not only one semester, but several semesters. So be fair and give the family time back to them. The second thing is me time. Definitely whatever practices you do to get some solitude, some oneness, some wholeness, do that in abundance this break. Give yourself the me time that you deserve. Now, that gets you whole. That gets you present. Family time and me time makes up for the losses you've experienced during the year. Now you're whole. You're back at one. Now let's get ahead. So if you're in a position where you now are deciding, let me use some of this time to get ahead, here are some things you can start doing. If you notice in the first knowledge acquisition stage, I started talking about gathering information on topics of interest. You should pretty much know your topics of interest to a large degree now, if you're in your second and third year. So with that, what you can do, and I actually have 3 things. The first thing you can do is start to develop your research schema. And your research schema is like your agenda, but expanded, right? So we tell people in a research agenda, you should probably choose about 3 areas that are of interest to you as your primary topics. And then you should be able to articulate how they are connected, things like that. A research schema dives deeper into your research agenda. So on level 1 is your primary topics. Those 3 main topics that you explore in your work. Now, underneath each primary topic is a set of secondary topics. So for one primary topic, you may be able to bring up 3 to 5 secondary topics that are related to your primary topic. So for each primary topic, you have a set of secondary topics that run up. So picture kind of a tree map. So you have 1, 2, and 3, and then underneath those you have multiple secondary topics that you have organized. And now move to the third layer. The third layer is actually questions related to the secondary and primary topics. So you can start from simple questions to a little more connecting questions. As you get good at this, you can start asking some real significant questions, but ask as many questions as you can. So you have your primary topic, secondary topics, and then questions. That starts developing your research schema. Develop it, start thinking about it, start piecing ideas together, start developing deeper questions. These questions will serve you well later. As you begin to discuss your topics with people, which I also suggest doing. As you do this, do not feel the need to do it alone. You have classmates, you have colleagues, you have friends who can talk about the topic in very layman's terms, things like that. Begin to talk with somebody, team up, partner with a few people, and just have a meeting where we throw our topics off each other and see what we can get. So that's the first thing, developing your research schema. The second thing is actually doing some reading, gathering or getting deeper into your topics, gathering articles, getting deeper into your topics. If you've taken my Mastering the Literature Review course, then you know about article cards and article card sets. This is where you start taking those readings and start developing your article cards and your article card sets. If you don't, I encourage you to go and check out that particular course. It's in the link that I put here for courses, but if you go to myadvantage.org, www.myadvantage.org, and then go to courses, you can see the courses there, and one of them is called Mastering the Literature Review. We have several sessions where we talk about the cards, the article card sets, and then what you do with them after that. Perfect course to get for this time period. Shameless plug, but throw that in there. You can also check out some of my courses. But definitely your article cards and article card sets you'll gather from this deep reading. And then your reference page you'll build as you pull those articles. So your goal during this break, because you don't have to download 30 articles and get all 30 articles done. Commit to doing 1 article per day, 2 max. But you do 1 article a day, it should take you about an hour. And once again, if you take that course, I also show you how to read peer-reviewed journal articles so you can maximize what you get from it. So you just don't do the same read throughout the entire document. But once again, that's part of that course. Feel free to take the course if you wish. But your goal should be 1 article per day because you're still on a break. And do it during your high energy time. So if you're a morning person, wake up first thing in the morning, knock your article out and be done with that for the day. 2 max, no more than 2. I don't want to burn you out during this time when you should be resting, reflecting, and relaxing. So that's the second thing, reading, getting deeper on your topics, and actually developing the cards and the card sets. And I'll say it again, go to the course, Mastering Literature Review. It's a great course if you want to get deeper into how to develop these article cards. And trust me when I tell you, they are game changing. So the third thing, the final thing, if you're in this phase, your agenda discovery phase, is I want you to begin to start thinking and planning for a major project. This is not something you're required to do. It's not something that happens in every doctoral program. No professor requires you to do it. Some may as a part of coursework, but not all. I know I have. But I want you to plan for a major project. Now, what I mean by that is they could be one of 3 things or even more, depending on what you think. But the first item that you could possibly do as a major project is publish an article. Think about an article you want to publish or a journal you want to publish in. Get the author guidelines, find out what you have to do, read a couple of articles from that journal to see how they're handling topics and things like that. But you should know, as you gather your research agenda, you should know the journals that publish the topics you're interested in as you do this. So if you're thinking about publishing an article, this is the perfect time to do it. Research suggests that those who publish or present at conferences prior to their dissertation are at least 5.5 times more likely to finish the entire program. So once again, think about publishing an article somewhere. Get that work going. Partner with somebody who may have similar interests so you all can kind of work this together. But begin the process of developing your articles to be published. If you have never published before, once you see your name in print, it will change you. So realize that. That's the first thing you could possibly do. The second major project you could possibly do is to create some type of event. It doesn't have to be immediately, so you don't have to create it in January. But begin the process of putting together some type of event, whether it's a webinar, an online panel discussion, or anything like that. Begin to create some type of event that you can gather your community to. Community of like-minded people, community of interest people, things like that. Create that event that you can attract people to. So that's good because that can open you up to a lot of other possibilities. Consulting, things like that. But to know that you can actively choose a topic and then develop an event and get people to come to it is powerful. So I want you to think about that and employ that into a major project you can do. A third major project that you can do, and this is thinking about preparing yourself for life after the doctorate, is plan your digital footprint. Plan how you look on social media. Most of the time, these things are not accidents. So plan your digital footprint, whether that means refining your LinkedIn page, refining your Facebook or Instagram page, or getting different ones and having those be your professional pages, or developing your web page where your personal events and items and publications and activities and all the things you do are there. Get that going. Establish your digital footprint. For those of you who wish to go into higher ed and be faculty, start thinking about multiple universities and seminal scholars and become their LinkedIn friends, because you want to get what you're doing in the face of people who could possibly move things for you, even though they don't necessarily know you personally. So plan your digital footprint. None of this should be an accident, but it should be a coordinated plan. If you have to hire a public relations person, so do it. I don't think it's that hard, but you can do that. I can help with it if you want. Contact me. But I can help you with web design, creating content so that you can have it on your webpage, so that when people visit you or see what you're doing, they can actually take away something to know that you're serious. So that's what you can do during this phase. This phase is simply your agenda discovery phase, where you're actually carving out who you're going to be in the world of research and academia.